Did you see the latest on Gary Vee? All right, so if you are a real estate agent, I'm sure you have heard of this. Gary Vaynerchuk announced to the world that he doesn't believe in homeownership. Just a little while ago, he put on a conference, Agent 2021, essentially teaching real estate agents how to grow their business. And then just recently, he turns around and says, home ownership is a bunch of BS. Yeah, you can imagine the uproar in the real estate community. So in this video, I'm going to go over three things. Number one, I'm going to show you the quick 43-second snippet. Number two, I'm going to share with you Tom Ferry's reply. Then at the end, I'm going to talk about Gary's new video he just released. It's more of a clarification video. And of course, throughout the entire video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and what I think about all this. So here's Gary Vaynerchuk's Twitter account. Here's 42 seconds from today's episode. Click to... By the way, everything that I'm going to talk about here, like the two full videos that I'm going to comment on, you can find the full versions, the actual videos I'm commenting on in the description below. I'm just going to jump in where I think matters. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of it. Let's check this one out. Okay, so I'm pissed I own a home. That's quite a catchy tagline, headline. And of course, real estate agents are going to jump all over this one.
I do not think the American dream should be buying a home anymore. I think it's full of shit.
Tell me more of that shit.
Now, you can find this on Gary Vee's Twitter. However, I'm going to actually go to the actual podcast he was in.
Awesome.
Listen, I'm going to pass you another compliment. I like when people see shit that other people don't.
Yeah.
It's actually how life works. Let me give you something I'm hot on right now. I do not think the American dream should be buying a home anymore. I think it's full of shit.
Tell me.
When Gary Vee pulled out the 43 seconds and put on Instagram and Twitter, he only took a snippet of the entire conversation. And he was saying, yeah, but you don't know the entire conversation. And perhaps it was taken out of context. Here's the thing. They were not talking about real estate before that. This right here, what he's doing is he's talking about one thing. He takes a left turn and says, here's what I'm hot about right now. And he literally just out of the blue made that comment. Let's continue. Good time for my mouse to die. Let's carry on.
Tell me more of that shit.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a bad use of upfront capital, and it ties you up.
Correct.
And it's just not smart.
It's not going to appreciate.
And
not the way you
and
want
what
it to.
is it for? Like, I'm pissed that I own a home.
Yeah.
I would literally rent in perpetuity now, and I will. Like, I've decided, like, I will never buy another new home.
Is it because
College. Parents are tricked, forcing kids to go to college when 93% of kids should not go to college. I love when shit is accepted, but it's now broken because college and buying a home might have really been awesome. And I actually believe this in 1954 and 1973. The problem is it's 2019. So like, I'm hot on seeing things that are obvious to me on what's gonna happen next. Here's what we do very interesting as a society. We shit on the new and we put the past on a pedestal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the reason I played this longer clip is so you can see kind of a few seconds before he made that comment and a few seconds after he made that comment. And it would appear that he's coming out of the blue. And let's get into what Tom Ferry says. Now, Gary Vee and Tom are friends. So this is really interesting because here's Gary making a comment that's perceived to be completely horrible because he's talking about the real estate industry. And then there's Tom Ferry, a real estate coach, looking at this going, Gary, are you kidding me? Okay, here's Tom's tweet at Gary. Gary Vee, check the stats on 65-year-olds that bought a home and those who didn't. It's basically 300K net worth to 6K net worth. So those who bought a home are worth 300K. Those who rented are now only worth 6K. 49% of Americans rent and the wealth isn't there. For you, me, I get it. For every 20 to 30-year-old, buy a home. One tiny little snippet of that really kind of caught my eye. For you, me, I get it. So you have to put yourself in both of their shoes. Here is Gary Vee Mr. Outspoken says whatever's on his mind in that moment. Tom Ferry's job, well, put yourself in his shoes. He's running a real estate coaching company. So when somebody says, don't buy a home, it's the biggest waste of money, and his good friend being a real estate coach reads this, it's like, Gary, buddy, come on. Why are you doing this to me? Now he's got a decision. Tom's thinking, okay, do I tear him a new one because I hate what he said, but I have to remain politically correct here on Twitter? Do I not say anything, but then I'm going to have, I know agents are going to start tweeting at me going, hey, did you see what Gary said? So I can't not say anything. Gary's a good friend. What the hell do I do? He goes on Twitter and he pulls out some stats, which fair enough. He's like, hey, Gary Vee, did you notice 300K versus 6K? You taking off?
Bye.
Bye. You going out for dinner?
Kyla's taking me out for dinner.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. So no one's home?
Right.
You guys want to party? You know when you're in the moment, in the flow, somebody interrupts you and you're like, where was I? This is the part right here that could possibly clarify everything. And I'm looking at the phrase, for you, me, I get it. Because it appears like Tom Ferry understood where Gary Vee is coming from. That's the part that Gary Vee left out that he should have. If he would have just explained this one part, everything would have been fine. And I'll share what that is after we watch his clarification video. Because Tom does make some sense in there and you almost have to read between the lines. Reply to Gary Vee at Tom Ferry, thoughts? So of course Tom was probably getting bombarded by these, hey, did you see what Gary's doing? Come on, man, put a stop to him. Find the dude a muzzle or something. You get people on both sides of the fence. Some are saying, Gary, what the heck? Why would you say that? Let's look through this one here. So here's what's happening. Gary Vee received an email from this gentleman that's on the phone with him now, and he's trying to explain what that whole clip was about.
It is deeply my opinion that the amount that far too many people in their 20s and 30s maximize their down payment on a home, right? Leaving them with no liquid to be able to do things with them. And if they are like me, like I said, right? And are entrepreneurial.
That's the part that is super important that I'm gonna explain at the end.
And on the offense, that there are better uses of their dollars than buying a home, because in renting a home or an apartment, they would take that theoretically, that $200,000-300,000 that they're putting down on a down payment, and they're putting it to work, whether in their business, building their brand through their ads, or investing in the stock market, right? So that's my point of view. Obviously, in lieu of the way you wrote the email, a couple things. Number one, Agent 2021. First of all, I think probably the most important part of this, brother, is I don't think that my opinion is A, covering most people, B, it's not necessarily right. It's my hypothesis of where the world's going, not how the world acted in the past, right? Number two.
So even though it's his opinion, people literally take that as, how can I put this? Like it's the most important thing they've ever heard and they have to listen to it. Gary's got a huge following, so people do listen. And here he's saying, well, it's just my opinion. And he has to realize that people hang on to his opinions like it's the only thing that matters in life. That's just my opinion.
And every single piece of content that I put out that you see, 99.9% of my customers do not agree with me on.
I don't know whether here he's kind of saying, listen, I can say what I want, whenever I want. You just simply don't need to agree with me. I don't know whether he's backtracking a little bit to say, well, it's just my opinion. I also think that he knows that he's really being followed and people are literally doing what he's telling them to do, because in many of his other interviews, he's saying, yeah, I give all this stuff out for free because I want people to use it. So in one sense, he's saying, I'm giving you what matters or what's going to build your business. And now he's almost saying, but it's just my opinion. And something like, I love the guy. Look, I'm not changing my opinion about Gary Vee. This guy is the man. He knows what he's doing. Let's just leave it at that. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. Does he make mistakes sometimes? Yes, and I do believe he made a mistake here, but he's realizing it.
The way it was positioned by me, you know, the way we positioned it as a micro clip, not having full context, that's on me, right? Like.
But when you watch the original video, it's not like they cut out a portion of anything else that would have made sense for that clip. There was nothing else. The context he's talking about was perhaps the conversation he was having in his head, and it's the words that he didn't say that he should have said. That's what I think actually happened.
Why would I take people's money at a conference that I don't believe that my personal opinion on home buying to a small subset of America has anything to do with what I should bring in value to an audience at an event in a ticket price form, right? You know, that, to me, there's literally no connection. I have empathy. Look, here's what, this thought, and I've read all the feedback from all the real estate agents on private forums, using my accounts, to back chatter. This thought that I'm endangering people's livelihood is the single greatest compliment of my career.
That's actually kind of funny.
That's laughable. So. Like, I don't have 0.000000001% influence on the masses on their home buying strategy.
Gary Vee's not destroying your livelihood. He's talking, like he said, to a small subset of individuals, which we will get to at the end. Agent 2021 has nothing to do with the message he had in the podcast to a very tiny audience.
People definitely take your opinion and use it.
To me, this is about a psychology, and I was speaking about me.
And I just didn't understand, and obviously you have to, because you're so big and an advertiser, that the things that you say might be taken out of context.
I don't think we did a good enough job. This is actually a change that I've made on my team. We need to be a little bit more thoughtful. I believe that a lot of entrepreneurial, on the offense, 20 to 35-year-olds should not put down payments on homes, use that capital to build wealth, and then buy their home at 39, 42, 44. But the way we clipped it was, and the way they titled it is, and I don't even remember, but I think it's something to the degree of, do you know it? No one? I don't want to buy a home. I'm the reason it was taken out of context. I do not believe that the industry took me out of context, and for that, I have to deal with the ramifications that I'm dealing with right now. I'm willing to pay the piper when I know that I didn't put myself in the best position. My biggest problem is that people viewed it as me trying to attack their livelihood and somehow ripping them off by throwing a conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what, Gary, to be honest, I didn't think that at all. I was just confused, and I respect that. Honestly,
same here, like I don't think he's doing that at all. It's more of a confusion, like why would you say that?
I just think it was bad timing. I just think that, like, you know, everybody was pumped up about Age of 2021.
Of course. But brother, did you listen to my keynote? Like I said it in the keynote that I don't think it's a good use of people's capital.
Right, for entrepreneurs.
That's right.
That's the key right there, for entrepreneurs. But even in the keynote, he says for entrepreneurs. He really wasn't talking to everyone. However, that wasn't clear on Twitter or the podcast.
Listen, you know, obviously everything is can be.
And by the way,
stop interrupting. Look at her glare. Gary, stop interrupting.
The clip is literally titled, "I'm pissed I own a home." I believe that we clipped in a way, and to be honest with you, because I'm gonna go listen to the podcast this weekend, I'm not sure if I did a good enough job clarifying it in the entire 45 minutes.
No, you didn't. And when you're gonna go back and watch it, Gary, you're gonna realize, crap.
Right, and listen, you know, I'm a prime example real quick. So I decided after I sold my last house to rent and invest in a beverage company, and our beverage company is crushing it right now. But
that's the point he's trying to make right there.
I think you need to ask yourself in the mirror if that's what you've done. If people were thoughtful truly thoughtful and non-emotional about what I did, they would understand the level of transparency. I did not consider, nor will I ever consider, the timing of Agent 2021 or anything else, because when I sell something, I say to myself, are they getting the value that they're paying for that? That's how I think about it. We live in a world where it is stunning to me how many people almost liquidate their entire bank account for that down payment.
That part I 100% agree with.
The amount of people that I wish, if they had 200,000, right, instead of them, buying $1 million home, buying a $500,000 home so they can put a hundo down, and then on the other hundo do their side hustle or some of the things that I'm passionate about. If they're an entrepreneur, if they think or a good investor, or they think they can do other things with money.
He's talking specifically to those who are extremely self-aware. So for example, if you look at 100 people, I would be willing to bet majority of them want to be homeowners. So the way his comment was perceived is all 100 of you take your money that you would have, your down payment for that home, and invest in your business. Don't buy a home, that's a waste of money, invest in your business. That's not the way he meant it. What he is saying is, okay, out of 100 of you, how many are going to start a business? But let's say 10 out of the 100. So 10% out of the 100 actually move on to start a business, which means he's automatically not talking to the 90 of them or 90% of them. His target audience, it would seem like his target audience or the message was meant for the 10 people, but I'm not done yet. What he's saying is, okay, 90 of you, go ahead and then buy yourself a home, move on. The remainder of you, the 10 of you that are here, one of you is going to be successful. One of you is very well aware of yourself. You know how to run a business and how to structure it in order for that business to be successful. So instead of you buying that home, take that money and invest in your business, because you will be able to grow that 100,000 or 200,000 into wealth. The 10 people that are left over out of the 100 that actually start up a business, one of these people will actually succeed in running that business. So Gary is talking to that one person and he's saying, hey, if you've got 200K lying around, you know you could do more with that money. Instead of buying a home, why don't you invest it in your business that will be successful, and in the long run, your wealth is going to grow much quicker than this home. I think that's where Gary was coming from. That's why he kept using I and me if I were to do it, because Gary is that one person out of the 100 that knows how to run a business. Gary, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a kick-ass job. You made a comment that unfortunately was taken out of context. However, you know yourself, looking back, that you screwed up, plain and simple. You took that clip, you okayed that for that clip to go out into the public, and then of course the backlash came because the perception of that clip was you're telling everybody that they should just not buy a home, they should invest. How you came across and what you meant were two completely different things. I truly, truly believe that. I think for those of you who think that Gary is going after your livelihood, I hope you can see that's not the case. So anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And hey, we'll chat tomorrow. Take care.